All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How is it going? I am istherenoonelse, and I am currently on the PTS. I wanted to show you a couple things I found out while testing different things and whatnot. I figured this would be worth a video. Get your own brain noggins running for your own specific builds. We are going to go through a couple things that I found work for scaling of proc sets on the PTS. Now, I'm not going to go through every individual set, but I will show you guys how you can test whatever set you want when this goes live, or if you have access to the PTS, you can test it yourself and figure out if your idea works for yourself and you have your own unique build. So with that being said, let's dive into it. Now, as you guys know, in Blackwood, they said that most proc damage sets will scale with your weapon or spell damage, whichever's higher. We got a proc damage set on us right now. We have Venomous Smite. Now we run Balorg. If we hit Balorg and it boosts our weapon or spell damage, it will boost this set. We already know that. But what I didn't know, and this is what I was asked in my Discord, is if a set like Swamp Raider will scale it. Now, if you guys haven't seen Swamp Raider before, it's right here. Weapon crit, max stamina, weapon damage, 600 weapon damage to your poison and disease damage abilities. Now, I didn't think it would because I thought it was just flat weapon and spell damage that applied our procs, but it actually does, and I'll show you why. I'll show you that it actually does. It does work with our poison proc sets. So you can use a set like Swamp Raider to scale a set like Venomous Smite. So what we're gonna do, got to rally up. We're going to cloak and we're going to proc our Venomous Smite. And you see we're at 2545. I have 5 Swamp Raider on. I have 5 Venomous Smite. And when this goes away, we're just going to take one piece off. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in here to our gloves. And you see we have Divines, Gold Gloves, 351 max stamina. We are just going to switch to this Deadlands Assassin's Bracers. So we're going to go from that to that. And all that's doing is eliminating the 5-piece set, so we're no longer getting that 600 weapon and spell damage from Swamp Raider. So we're going to cloak, we're going to apply it again, so we go from 2545 to 2186. Now, you can do this with any set, so if you want to test one of the fire, I can't remember the name of the fire damage set. If you want to test the shocks like Netch's Touch for whatever reason, or any other set, you can do it in this exact way to see if it scales. Now, the other thing that I found out is we're running infused weapon damage jewelry, and as you can, we'll get the same baseline once again so you guys can remember what it is. But if we cloak and hit and proc it, you see we're at 2186 with our rally buffed with all infused spell damage enchants on our jewelry. Now remember that number, 2186. We have to come out of combat. If we change our jewelry to Bloodthirsty, we can actually do different amounts of damage with that also. Now, this one also, it makes sense because Bloodthirsty is just increasing your weapon and spell damage against enemies, whatever. But for whatever reason, I just assumed that the weapon and spell damage was going to be the weapon and spell damage on your character sheet. That's why I didn't think that any of this worked, but it's worth testing, and it actually does. And so there's been some stuff. I've even said it as well on my, I'll show you right here. So we're buffed with rally. We're going to cloak. We're going to proc this. 2265, which is more than the 21 whatever. And this will go higher the lower they get it. Now, this is a big deal for a few different reasons. Number one, I've talked about this. I've talked about how it's easier for medium armor builds to scale weapon and spell damage. You can get 7, 8, 9, 10k weapon damage relatively easily on a stamina-based build. And so, yeah, procs can be powerful on specific specs for stamina builds. It is not easy to make a PvP build for a Magicka-based spec that gets over 5k spell damage. I've had 6k. And I was a glass cannon. I ran a 6k Magplar running major and minor sorcery. It was fun. It was fun, but I just couldn't 1vx with it because I kept taking way too much damage. And so, yeah, there's a big disparity in the amount of weapon and spell damage you can get. But Bloodthirsty, the fact that you can get so much more weapon and spell damage when they get to lower health is going to boost Magicka specs quite a bit. And so how I would look at this is it all depends on what your burst combination, depends on what your class is, it depends on what dots you're running, right? If you have a spec that can burst well and you're running dot-based procs, Bloodthirsty may be the best option, because if you can drop them below 50% health, as you guys can see, your procs are going to do more damage than 3 infused weapon damage. A lot goes into here. Like it's a give-take relationship, right? If we run infused weapon damage, our healing's going to be better. Our flat damage is going to be better on all of our abilities. If we run Bloodthirsty, the lower the health they get, we get scaling execute damage. And I actually like Bloodthirsty on a class like Magicka Dragon Knight, because they don't have an execute. And so I know if I do like a leap whip combination and I get him down to around 60% health, my leap is going to drop him below 50%. I know my whip's going to hit harder. I have that little bit of extra finishing power that I enjoy on that type of class. I know classes like Magicka Warden, Magicka Necromancer have used Bloodthirsty to good effect in the past as well. But yeah, it's an interesting thought. Like, if you like, my rule of thought just off the top of my head, and yeah, this is going to be wrong in some situations, you're going to have to test it for yourself. But if you're running a dot-based proc and you can apply enough burst to get somebody to lower health, I'd run Bloodthirsty if your healing's good. A lot of ifs in there. If you're running flat damage-based like burst procs or whatever, I'd run infused. And so I thought this is interesting. I thought this was really interesting and worth talking about. But yeah, that's going to be into this video. Bloodthirsty and sets like Swamp Raider work for procs as well. So yeah, that's coming to Blackwood. You guys can get your own theory crafted noggins going. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you're thinking about for builds next patch. Yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.